Yo, 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 yo. What's good with it, man? It's the homie Mac. Music, art, culture, knowledge. Each one teach one. Peace and love, peace and love. It's another session of Mac Minutes. You know what it is, man. Um, yeah, let's jump right to it. Forget the formalities today. Jump right to it. Let's jump right to it. Um, we all know what happened at the Capitol building yesterday in Washington, D.C. That there were, let me be as upfront and blunt as possible. There were white supremacists, terrorists, rioters, looters, um, insert any negative, adjective there. They're pretty much, not even pretty much. They attempted to steal the electoral vote, the data, the votes, and it's the irony in that is the irony in that is the fact that they had a slogan called "Stop the Steal," meaning they felt like this whole election process was faulty. There was some foul play, but as far as I know, and the data that's been shown, well, not data that's been shown, but yeah, data, numbers, the data that's been shown, there was no foul play. So yeah, I just thought it was ironic how these guys call themselves so full of patriotism, but they're really on some bullshit. But anyway, what they did, sieging the Capitol, attacking the Capitol, storming the Capitol, that has never happened since the War of 1812 and 1814. British soldiers seized the Capitol. I want to say they actually burned it down, and they burned down the president's mansion and some other stuff too. So I guess history, well, they say truth is stranger than fiction. I guess what's really frustrating is people act like this isn't my country, this isn't my America. No, what they did yesterday was very American. And I think what people need to understand that the founding fathers of this nation, they had a lot of ideals that were rooted in justice, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, right to having the right to protect yourself, having the right to be ingratiated in society, in greater society, express yourself, freedom of speech, being able to coexist with your ecosystem. Those are very high-minded principles that are very beautiful in theory. But I think what people need to understand, this nation was built upon white, male, patriarchal, hegemonic, systemic infrastructures. I know I just said a lot, but the bottom line, in layman terms, essentially, this country was built for wealthy white men to own property. At its core, I think the founding fathers of this nation, I mean, how could they? They couldn't prognosticate America becoming such a heterogeneous mixture of people. They didn't see that coming. But I want people to understand this nation was also built off of, like I said, unfettered capitalism, as well as the concept of wealthy white men owning property. I mean, shit, they owned people at one point. But not only off of that, it was also built off of violence and entrepreneurship. Man, that's the whole premise of Manifest Destiny. I think, who was it, Andrew Jackson? He passed something called the Cherokee Removal Act, or the Indian Removal Act, or was it Cherokee Indian Removal Act? Something to that effect. Forgive me, I can't remember the exact title of it. But basically, they passed laws that told the natives, you got to get off the land. You got to go somewhere else. And I guess, like, this is who we've always been. And I guess being in school right now, pursuing a career in medicine, I've been forced to look at life through a more organic slash scientific biological means. And I guess at the end of the day, I feel like, we live with, in a capitalist infrastructure, it's social Darwinism personified. Just like how you have, microbes, pathogens, bacteria, viruses that all are vying for a human host. Your integumentary system, your first line of defense, which is your skin, your hair, your nails, glands in your body. That's your first line of defense against the material world. Pathogens, things that are floating around. Your second line of defense being white blood cells. And I'm saying all that to say, even in the biological world, through nature, everything has a survivalist mindset. I get what I get. I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to get what I get to sustain my existence. And I'm saying all that to say, it's a fight on a microscopic level. And in greater society, we mirror that in greater society. And by that, I'm essentially saying everybody, at its core, we're animals. I'm a Christian myself. I believe, I have a sense of spirituality. I believe in a creator. But speaking on a biological spectrum, we're mammals. So just like on a microscopical level, there's a fight. There's a fight amongst full grown ass mammals, humans. Everybody's competing for space. Everybody's competing for real estate, competing for resources. At its core, existence is violent. What did Huey P. Newton say? Existence is violent, therefore I exist in that way. There aren't any clearly objective concepts of morality across the board that everybody just shakes hands and agrees with. No. When you are dealing with survival, there really aren't any rules of engagement. Your primary objective is to survive. And I want to talk about white supremacy. And people throw that word around a lot. They say white supremacy, white supremacists. And I don't think a lot of us have an idea what white supremacy actually is. I define white supremacy as a universal attempt. Well, not even an attempt. A successful, prodigious act of convincing all non-whites to be subjugated to whites in all spectrums of human existence: sports, sex, entertainment, pop culture, religion, all spaces of human engagement. All non-whites are to be subjugated at the behest of whites. I remember reading somewhere it said that every non-white person, specifically black people, they have a small little white person in the back of their brain. And a lot that reality, it's real. And I've had to confront that within myself. There is a whole paradigm that has been inculcated within us subconsciously. I believe in dialectics, yin and yang. We see imagery. If you see pictures of white women, put on a pedestal with halos on their head, and they're just so beautiful, and then you see the darker women, they're subjugated, controlled, and they look subhuman, or they're contextualized as subhuman. In your brain, you're gonna make an association subconsciously, and we all need to check ourselves and self-reflect, do inventory on our own thought process. Why do we think what we think? Why are certain things beautiful? Why are certain things pristine? Why are certain things sacrosanct? What have you? But yeah, back to DC. What they did was very American. Dealing with a colonial American paradigm is about control. And they basically said, look, we don't care what y'all say. Y'all said Trump laws. We don't care. We're gonna secure the votes, we're going to grab it, we're just going to disrupt the whole process. That's very American. You know, especially within the context of a white supremacist paradigm, you have a president. I won't say Trump is a white supremacist. I will say that more than anything, he's a classist. But I think he knew that his audience was its core. At its core, it was comprised of white supremacists. He never publicly repudiated white supremacy. He catered to it. And I peeped that back in Charlottesville. You know, they were good people. No, these people were violent. And again, back to the whole concept of biology and social Darwinism. Who was it? Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. She was noted as saying white people fear genetic annihilation. And that's true. I mean, even Biden said it when he had that stern talking to those black civil rights leaders. He said, look, by 2040, there might the amount of white Anglo-Saxon European Americans, that number is going to plummet. It's going to plummet. It's going to decline. And my thing is, white supremacists fear that. If you've lived a whole life of a whole bias being made in your favor, of you having you being viewed as superior, and your life being easy, and you being the benefactor of nepotism, would you want to give all that up? Like, you know, you can be literally, you are the world's minority. White people are the world's minority. And they know that they can be wiped out genetically. I mean, let's just keep it a buck. That's not me being racist. That's not me I'm not speaking hate speech. None of that. I'm just saying, again, I deal in science. If we're dealing strictly in biology, that can happen. They can be phased out. So again, if you go from a superior status where you have a whole socio-economic and political infrastructure that functions at your behest, would you give that up? How much privilege would you give up? The average person? No, they wouldn't. There's a very small minority of people who truly have a heart for justice and just wants to see everybody win. That's not the case for most of us. And I'm going to say this, and I may catch some flack for this, but I think white supremacy is a rational response to social Darwinism. Throughout the annals of history, there's been class struggle, and there's been people literally just fighting and murdering each other over control, over power. Existence is violent. You know, hopefully, you know, there'll be, as time has gone on, more people realize, like, we have to have a sense of community. We're interdependent. But I don't really think a capitalist infrastructure gives much room for that. You know, capitalism is, I gotta get mine. You know, some people take it to extreme capitalism and they'll do whatever. I'm not giving a pass for white supremacy. I'm not making excuses for it. I'm just trying to take a step back and look at this rationally on a biological, scientific level and on a sociological level too. You know, and I think us as black people, I think we've been very forgiving, very kind-hearted. Oh, just trying to understand, and God will get us through this, you know, the Lord. And I'm not knocking faith, but I know God gave me a brain. He gave me a supercomputer to process information and to look at patterns and to pay attention. I can't live in harmony with someone or people who have made it their just duty to exploit me and subjugate me by any means. We're living in imagine if I raided the Capitol building with a bunch of black. If I took a bunch of Parus, a bunch of Lokes, a bunch of GDs, a bunch of Vice Lords, and we just raided the Capitol building, we would have got shot on sight, TOS, terminated on sight. You look at these guys. The matter of fact, if you've yet to do so, subscribe to the YouTube channel 82 Kings. If you like this content, subscribe to it. Click the bell. I've been having people get unfollowed, so just make sure you're keeping abreast of what I got going on. Make sure you still follow. Hit that notification bell. But yeah. Oh, Instagram too, @MACK TV_82. But yeah, if you look at what happened at the Capitol when they stormed it, there were police officers taking selfies with these guys. They were taking selfies, and from what I saw, they even let some of them just come on in. You know, but we know that there's a binary between white supremacy and law enforcement. You have some white supremacists that even brag about having members within law enforcement. I could do a whole thesis on this thing for this MACK minutes, but it's MACK minutes, not MACK hours. My thing is, what happened is very American. The goal of white supremacy has just been survivalist by any means. And to be honest with you, America needs to accept that it's rooted in white supremacy, that is rooted in the subjugation of all non-whites. And my thing is as well, like if, you know, let's say the European numbers do dwindle and the face of power changes, we'll just go from one oppressor to another. I'm saying that we need to try to develop a sense of, and maybe this is idealistic, but we need to try to deal and foment, we need to try to foment a sense, a communal sense centered around justice, economically, socially, politically. You know? But yeah, this is the homie MACK. Music, art, culture, knowledge. This what we saw yesterday was the Turner Diaries manifested. Get that book, the Turner Diaries. That's pretty much the white supremacist Bible. How they scream that they're so oppressed and their way of life is just it's meant to be they're meant to be wiped out, or people trying to wipe them out. No, I think white supremacy has left such a spell. A lot of non-black people try to justify things that white people do, that are white supremacists do. And I guess my thing is we have to find a way to try to live in harmony with each other. You know, I'm definitely for peace.